Hi guys, this video is to show you an example of using tables to compare ratios. The problem we have presented is 3 gardeners trimmed bushes in a large courtyard. The table below shows the number of bushes each of them trimmed and how much time each gardener spent. So you can see here we have this table and it shows us that the first gardener trimmed 8 bushes in 40 minutes, second gardener 5 bushes in 30 minutes, third gardener 4 bushes in 28 minutes. So you'll see on the top there we have the number of bushes, the bottom we have the time in minutes. So we need to write the time it took per bush for each gardener, then determine who trimmed the bushes the fastest. So we are looking for the time it took each gardener to trim 1 bush. So we are going to have a rate that has a unit of 1, and that is also a unit rate. So in order to solve this, we're going to find the unit rate per bush for each gardener, and that will tell us which gardener trimmed each bush the fastest. So we're going to look at gardener number 1, and you can see over here on the table he trimmed 8 bushes in 40 minutes. So that is going to be those are going to be the values that we use to set up our fraction. So the first step when we need to find unit rates is we set up our fraction. So we have 8 bushes in 40 minutes, and we need to line up our units. So if we have bushes on the top here, we need to have bushes on the top here. Same goes for minutes. And we know we are looking for how the minutes it took him to trim 1 bush. So we are going to have 1 on the top. We need to find out now how we got from 8 to 1. So we would have divided by 8. 8 divided by 8 equals 1. Whatever we do on the top, we need to do on the bottom. So we would divide by 8. We're going to use our calculator. So we had 40 divided by 8, and that equals 5. So we know it took gardener number 1 5 minutes for every 1 bush. He trimmed 1 bush in 5 minutes. Now we're going to look at gardener number 2. Gardener number 2, we can see over here on the table, trimmed 5 bushes in 30 minutes. Those are the values for our fraction. We're going to set that up. 5 bushes in 30 minutes. Line up our units. We're going to have bushes on the top, minutes on the bottom. We're looking for the minutes it took him to trim 1 bush. So we'll divide by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Whatever we do on the top, we'll do on the bottom. Divide by 5, and we're going to use our calculator. So we're going to pull that up, and we have 30 divided by 5 gives us 6. So we know that gardener number 2 trimmed 1 bush in 6 minutes. Now we're going to look at gardener number 3. We can see over here on our table that he trimmed 4 bushes in 28 minutes. So those are the values for our fraction. 4 bushes, 28 minutes. Line up our units, so bushes on top, minutes on the bottom. Same thing this time, guys. We are just trying to find out how many minutes it took for 1 bush. So how do we get from 4 to 1? We divide by 4, and that equals 1. So we're also going to divide the bottom by 4 and come over to our calculator. And we'll have 28 divided by 4, and that gives us 7. So we know gardener number 3 trimmed 1 bush in 7 minutes. So looking at this table with the values, we've now found the unit rate for each of those values, and we needed to determine who trimmed the bushes the fastest. From finding the unit rate, we know that gardener number 1 was the fastest because he trimmed 1 bush every 5 minutes, compared to gardener number 2 who took 6 minutes and gardener number 3 who took 7 minutes. So that is how we would use this table to compare the ratios.